Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Dogs. I'm Susan Allen Medium. I'm an evidential psychic medium and animal communicator. This podcast is a place to share insights into the spirit world and soulful stories of animals and what they can teach us about a life aligned with love. So grab your mug and let's dive into some magic together. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Susan. So good to see you. How are you?
Great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
We're going to just roll into my coffee with dogs. And do you have questions? Do you want to start with some questions and then I'll just roll into stories?
Susan, I think a lot of pet owners quietly carry guilt.
Hmm.
Where do you think that comes from?
I think the guilt, when I talk to people that are talking to their dogs that have crossed over, I think a lot of the guilt is coming from thinking they had some type of control toward the end of their life, or thinking they could have done something more, or thinking I didn't get home in time, or um, did my pet have pain? And when we're thinking like that over and over, it's just like when we lose a person, when we have these thoughts in our head, it's not like the ultimate highest vibration for us or them, but we replay it in our mind over and over. And when I talk to dogs in the spirit world, they tell me what their thoughts are that come into play with their mommy or daddy that's left here. And that's not like the highest vibration thinking, but it's very normal when you're a human being on a spiritual path, but still a human being, that we forget. Pets don't remember the last year of their life, they remember their life with you. And even if it was a short life with you, they're not going to remember or want to go over the last details. Now, in a reading, they sometimes show me what they passed of, and it's just for validation reasons. It's just for the person to say, yeah, that's true, that happened, or to make the mom or dad believe that it's a real connection. If that's one of the things, that's one of the ways. And just like talking to the spirit world and dead people, sometimes they give me an image and they give me, or hold my breath, or it's just like talking to a dead person. Although, you know, both have the same amount of ability to communicate. It's just like with people, sometimes they communicate better than others.
Now, that's interesting that you say that because that was going to be one of my next questions is
Oh, yippee.
personally, I've had readings with you, and I don't believe you've tapped into connecting with any of my pets, but I know from experience connecting with the spiritual human beings, right? Our ancestors and our mothers, our fathers, our friends. It's so you're pretty much getting the same kind of messages, images, and dogs being that they're sentient beings, they also are able to communicate like that. That's very fascinating to me.
It's interesting because I started my whole career as an animal communicator. So I wasn't even talking to dead people for like 10 years. And I made an effort from day one to connect to the soul of the pet, and get, and what I got for years and years, because I journaled all my readings in disbelief, I would journal all my readings and then get on the phone with people for an hour, meditate 20 minutes, journal for 30 minutes, be on the phone an hour. And what was coming through over and over were distinct personalities of the pets, similar to a personality like a person would have, and distinct ways of phrasing things. Um, one time I talked to a dog, and the energy and the vibrancy of this personality was like, just like talking to, I would say, I remember like this. I remember telling the woman, this personality feels like this salty old guy that's really into you. And she'd be like, oh my God, that's so funny because this dog humps my leg every time I walk in my client's house. So that girl had a real connection and a deep connection with that particular dog. You know, she walked the dog every single day and she was always around the dog. So the personality would really come through and she validated everything I said. So that was pretty interesting. That was kind of like at the very beginning of doing this where I was just really doing it for more like evidence, and also, you know, I wanted to really know that this was real. I wanted the evidence and I wanted people to validate what I was getting. So I was doing it, you know, just for testimonials to start my whole business. So that's kind of why it started that way.
That's so fascinating. Now, do animals actually notice when we feel like we're not doing enough for them?
You know, animals are pretty buoyant. They are
Hmm.
pretty angelic beings that have come here to make our lives better. They get very nervous and anxious when we are nervous and anxious. They feel our feelings, and it's best to walk your dog if you have a dog, or, you know, spend time with your cat if it's a cat. Pay attention to their needs, because this is my vibe and this is my thoughts. When we are involved with our animals, our vibration gets better. So we can be in a not such a great place, but yet when we are engaged and involved with our pet, we will inevitably feel better. And they know it.
Hmm.
Know it. It's like Penelope knows it. You know, she knows when I'm engaged with her, my energy is much better. It's being in the present. It's being in the present with our pets that helps our energy so much.
It just goes to show how amazing the connection is from here into the spirit realm. But I don't want to make it sound like it's another place because it's already existing here now, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, we are in a very important time in the world. And if you did choose to incarnate, because we do have our choice whether we stay in the spirit or we incarnate, this is a very amazing, light filled, and challenging time for very sensitive people, you know, especially myself. That's why I'm always trying to put more and more out there, because it actually helps my vibration to help other people. I'm all moon, I'm all lunar, so I'm all feeling and
Yes.
water. So I have to really modulate, you know, my well-being just like other people modulate theirs. It's different with me. I choose to be in nature and with pets when I am having a lower vibration day. That's kind of like the best for me. I have had one dream of my soul pet Rosie in all these years. It's been like 10 years, and I've only had one dream of her. And this dream was pretty profound. It was after a sound bath, and a girlfriend of mine who's an incredible healer. She did a sound bath. I went, I felt my friend that's in spirit, who was an amazing healer, Nicole Pajot. I felt her in the room the minute I walked in, and they were taking pictures, and there's orbs all over my face. I felt Nicole's energy there. And it
Yes.
was very, very profound. And I came home that night and I dreamt of my soul dog, Rosie, who I named. Part of it was a thing that happened many years ago when my mom was dying. And the other part of it is her picture is in all my logos, everything with Coffee with Dogs. And she loved the beach. And it was really crazy because she was a crazy French bulldog and would start in with all the other dogs. I had very little control over her, but she was very buoyant and easy. and I was able to carry her up a step at a beach coffee shop and walk over, order my coffee. And she was just easygoing. And I was even able to hold my coffee and carry her down the steps, which was showing me that she's in an amazing place and walking with me and not causing me anxiety trying to bark and lash out at other dogs. Cause that was like, she was definitely my soul pet that brought me so much information. And I had like these moments with her where I could feel my vibration change, just like in a reading, and know that it was a real message. And the message that I got from her was, you better learn how to love yourself because I'm not going to be around forever. So animals are very demonstrative in how much they love us and they need us. They want us to bring that love back to ourselves and give ourselves the love that they are demonstrating towards us, because it's pure unconditional love. And that's why pet loss is probably one of the worst losses ever, because most people that have pets regard them as their extensions of themselves and children. And when they leave, they take away the physical, but energetically, they're always around us to help us heal. And when I talk to the dead animals, because I feel them as living, honestly,
Mhm.
they're showing me how much they're around their newly pregnant mother when they transition, or their parent that is now getting into a new job, a new city, or a new relationship. So their transition is always an incredibly profound thing when they transition.
Do pets ever judge us the way we judge ourselves? And I kind of feel no. What would you say?
Definitely
Yeah,
not.
definitely not.
They're always around us, giving us love and light. They're not judgy. I mean, sometimes, people have said I haven't really been great on the walks. If I've actually, I had a gentleman yesterday who said, your pet's coming in, and he's saying he really was filled on the walks in the woods, and he's showing me dirt. And the man said, yeah, but that was so many years ago, and I haven't had that pet in so many years. And I remember even missing walks with that pet. And I wasn't the greatest walker. And I'm like, but that's not what the pet remembers. The pet remembers how wonderful you were and how he loved those walks. He's not condemning you or criticizing you for missing walks. Does that make sense? Like, they don't bring up,
Mhm.
I've never had an animal. This is why I love animals so much. I've never had an animal talk about what was wrong with the relationship, you know? But even dead people don't come in and say what's wrong with the relationship. Dead people generally come in and say what they did wrong and they need forgiveness for,
Mhm.
or they're really vibrating around you to bring you to the heights and bring you joy and your spirit and really helping you. I've never come across somebody that would say, you're lousy because you didn't walk me. Somebody. And
Mm.
that's how I feel about animals. They are a somebody.
Oh, absolutely. What would our pets say to us if we are being too hard on ourselves right now?
Totally let go. I mean, the human condition is like we're always trying to figure out what we did wrong or what we didn't do right. And it's just like, let go, go for a walk, go smell a flower like we would. That's what our
Mhm.
animals would want us to know. That's really it. Just love.
Oh, absolutely. Unconditional love. That's for sure. That also goes into play with the no judging. They just love, 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 love. Now, if someone is listening and feeling that type of guilt, what's one thing that they can do right now to shift that feeling for themselves?
Yeah, just think about what fun you had together, how your animals jumped in the air for a frisbee, or the time your animal got on your counter and pulled 3 cookies off that you just pulled out of your cupboard, or the steak that you made, or the pizza. Like, there's fun, hilarious times. That's the vibration that they want you to live in. Now, it's pet loss is one of the worst losses, I think, out there. I mean, I've only had pet loss. I haven't lost a child, so I can't speak from that. However, when I have worked with owners of pets, it's always, does he know how much I loved him? Does he know how much fun I had with him? Does he know how much I miss him? They know everything, because generally speaking, they don't really leave our sides. Even if they reincarnate, that's when they leave and come back, but they're always around us.
Wow. Just like the humans, always around us. Now, what do you wish every pet owner truly would understand about the way their animals love them?
It's unconditional. That's that's what I can say. It's unconditional love. And that's why it's a hard loss.
Hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. Um, Thank you for hosting. It was lovely to see you today, Maria. It's
Yes,
always a
absolutely.
joy to be with you.
Now, can you tell people where they can perhaps reach you to get a pet reading or another type of reading from you?
It's always SusanAllenMedium.com. We're on Apple and Spotify. And I love when people rate and review us. So this way it encourages me. And also, if you have any questions, I would love for you to email us at assistant@SusanAllenMedium, or drop me a note in Instagram. Love to hear your questions.
Thank you, Susan. That was lovely.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Coffee with Dogs. I'm your host, Susan Ellen Medium. I would love for you to rate and review the podcast wherever you listen. This helps everyone find me. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. From my soul to yours, and from our animals to us all, until we meet again.